Okay, so welcome to this virtual workshop about creative interactive virtual events. For anyone who is starting to or aspiring to or already involved in producing or hosting any kind of virtual event, I'm hoping this workshop will give you some inspiration. So obviously we are always in need of connection, but especially right now and more than ever, everyone is searching for connection and inspiration through media. Also, service providers and creators all over the world are in this inquiry. What can I create? What can I do with my computer and my ideas and my expertise and my love and my wisdom? But virtual events are not always fun to be at. They can be stale and boring, and we want to kind of avoid that, hence this workshop. And I also want to avoid you reinventing the wheel because there's so much amazing, brilliant creativity all over the world and such wonderful tools available to us. So if you are feeling the call to step up and be a creator, a leader, a producer, step into the world of media and education and thought leadership in any way, then that's my goal, is to inspire you. So we're going to look at some examples that are fresh, creative, and some of them are pushing the envelope. Mostly I am looking at music and entertainment examples to begin with, and then segueing into some educational workshop type examples across the spectrum. And then after that, I get into tech tools, best practices, tips, and things like that. That's kind of the structure of the workshop. So starting with entertainment-based events and offerings. Here's an example. This is just a Facebook event that some cute French people created that's essentially a series of live happy hours with costumed characters. And they put the little how it works. You bring something, which in this case is a cocktail. You show up at the time-space coordinates, which in this case is a Facebook page, and you can watch and interact with the characters. I put a little note, it would be fun if you were encouraged to dress up as well. This thing on the left is kind of a funny spoof that just makes you laugh. It's like the stay-at-home festival with depressed mode and flu fighters and no cure is kind of cute. But the truth is there's been a huge insurgency of amazing music events available online. So I want to start by spotlighting the House of Yes in New York City because they are doing super inspiring stuff. They're doing twerk shops and drag shows and dance parties, and a lot of it's free, and they're predominantly using Instagram Live as their main tool for doing it. This is just a fantastic quote. Gotta love them and their vibe and everything. And they basically had an event called Hot Mess that is moving from in real life to URL, and it's taking over their Instagram every Friday. They've got a digital drag show. They even, I recently noted, started producing their own little kind of TV spots with like spoof news and stuff like that. So they're definitely worth a little spotlight. This is an entertainer in Colorado who used to do a lot of singing telegrams and is now trying to bring that into virtual singing telegrams. This is a adaptable magician called Chris Michael who has pulled together virtual magic shows that he's booking. And this is a local magician and a local juggler who are both getting in the game with online classes and tutorials and shows. And I'm gonna spotlight Bree actually because not only is she local, but she's been very fast, tech savvy and creative in her pivoting and her putting together this whole show with a good looking website and a video, basically doing kids parties. And this is, I just peeked yesterday and she had already updated her site. And she has a cute little educational gift that helps orient the parents to what to expect and how to do it, which is also very smart and savvy. And the Fungineers are also a very fun example. They have been doing every Thursday night. They've been doing their own live stream show with beatboxing and puppeteering and freestyling. And when people make donations, they can suggest themes for their freestyling. And it's just kind of absurdist and very fun to watch. And they do raise enough money to go buy themselves groceries because they're also roommates. And they are using OBS Streamlabs and YouTube Live as their tools. This is also local to San Francisco, Vaudeville Society. This is coming up. It's a big fundraising event for them to survive through this time. And they are rallying a lot of people and creativity, and they're going to have 15 plus interactive rooms at their virtual fundraiser. And the $20 tickets support struggling circus artists and the big tent organization that they are all a part of. My own company, Catalyst Arts, is now starting to curate and book virtual events and entertainment and experiences like tarot readers, magicians, art and media workshops, storytelling, voice and dance, and game shows. There are hubs popping up, which is super cool. There's, I've got 3 of them here that are basically aggregating and letting you know all these different kinds of live streams available in different categories. They have 8 categories on You Are Alive. Rush Ticks currently has 3 categories last I checked: music, health, and comedy. And Portal had, I think, 6 categories or something. A lot of music and also a fair amount of art and food. So these are worth checking out in terms of getting a sense of what's out there and what is, what you can easily improve upon and what is setting the bar. And then here's just like a quick glance at Cirque du Soleil trying to get into the game and kind of pop in almost like a Netflix for Cirque programming. They're starting their own web series category, which is still in its infancy, but kind of keeping an eye on them as like a gigantic entertainment brand who is unable to do any of their shows and has laid off most of their performers. And so they're probably funneling their energy into this right now. There are full-on digital festivals. Like these are 2 that just happened last weekend. This one on the right, Global Unity Fest, I think was the largest virtual festival maybe ever. Look at that lineup. It's just gigantic. I can't imagine all the coordination involved. They were predominantly using Twitch for their streaming, but the comedy stage and the workshop stages were using Zoom. And this is just a guy who did a kind of entertainers State of the Union. He's marketing to entertainers and saying he's going to kind of help them through this time and promoting a group coaching program. This is my friend Scott doing some cool, weird visual programming and also kind of using Stream to try to hold up some interesting things because he's representing Lightform and Playable Agency. These are just examples of individuals doing cute things via Facebook and Zoom and just kind of creating connection and being sweet. So it doesn't always have to be a big thing. It can just be, you have an idea and you make it into something. This is an event that's coming right up that falls into the category, not so much of entertainment. This is kind of starting to bridge us into education. This is an interactive event. It's a creative collaboration event is what they're calling it. They give out a topic and you pair yourself up with a small team, or you can do it solo, or you can ask to be paired with strangers, and you have a 48-hour window to create some kind of something, art or video or weird stuff and things out of the theme. And the theme is the deconstruction, I think, or maybe the theme is bridging it or something. Anyway, check it out at the deconstruction.org. And before we go into the education-centric examples, I stumbled upon this guy, Paul Richard, in this book, The Virtual Ticket. And he has this nifty diagram that shows that, you know, attention is the currency you start with. You're trying to gather people's attention. And then the next level up is get their focus, get them to actually stop and focus. And then the next level up is engagement. Are they participating? Are they interacting? And then education. Are you teaching them something? Are you sharing information and appreciation on a topic? Are you bringing joy and happiness and enjoyment? He put entertainment above education. That could be argued, but we'll go with it. And reaction. Are they actually? Is there some kind of are you creating some kind of action or reaction, positive from what you're creating? And then ultimately, are you initiating a transformation? So, you know, your motivation might be anywhere along this line, but kind of keeping this in mind, and that if we want to transform people, you know, first we got to get their attention. And so this is a great quote also from that book. Well-designed events can easily transport viewers into an immersive experiences using live streaming technology. There's an immediacy created with live streaming that is authentic and real in a world of fragmented media, which is why I think the live movement is getting really popular. Is people don't just want to consume media, they want to actually feel connected. So you may be already creating or considering creating. Some of the motivations might be, you know, connection and community building, like we talked about, or to grow your brand, your business, your platform, to become known and recognized for something, or also to generate income. So one of the first questions to ask yourself is, what is your primary E? Most people who create a virtual event or virtual experience probably have more than one of these that resonate, or possibly all three of them, but really, like, which is the primary one? Are you primarily an educator, but you want to bring some entertainment into it? Are you primarily an entertainer, but you want to maybe drop some factoids here and there? Or are you primarily a community builder or a connector, or, you know, primarily just trying to build connections? And then that's a little bit more about social media than it is about virtual media, but something to consider. So transitioning into the educational side of the virtual events world and launching into examples. So this is Kate. She's an artist in LA who has totally pivoted to offering Zoom room art classes, and she's got like 5 or 6 adorable little workshops, and she has class sizes of 4 to 10, and it seems to be off to a good start so far and totally adorable. Virtual yoga and fitness classes of all stripes and varieties can be found all over the place. This is an entire schedule of offerings that this one virtual wellness studio put together of all these different kinds. So there's also kind of leadership going on where it's not just individuals, they're aggregating and sharing just like a normal studio would. This is a local aerialist contortionist, Christine Lee, who didn't want to wait around for her gigs to come back. She just started posting things on Facebook and getting people to do her stretching classes and various kinds of flexibility related classes. And she's teaching 6-7 days a week right now, making money and staying flexible and pivoting into the current reality that we're into. And then LubDub is one possible platform to consider if you are a wellness fitness type instructor. It is currently free for teachers. They don't take a cut of what you make from the classes. So I'm sure there are other platforms, but this is one that's on my radar that is worth considering if that's your world. And virtual summits are kind of a large animal. I won't spend a lot of time on them, but it's basically like a conference. So these are usually more put on by businesses than individuals. There's some pretty sophisticated functionality in some of the softwares. but they're very time consuming to create, and yeah. But here's a cute example. This was a summit that Serena in the UK put together last month, and it was 3 days, and they had multiple stages, and they even had a like open mic dance party type thing, and they even had like some speed networking functionality through their software. She used Hopin for that, and one of the other popular choices is Hey Summit for doing virtual summits. There's also, you know, a miniature version of that would be to just host a virtual chat or a roundtable on your topic. You know, even before you figured out what you want to do, if you know what your topic is, then you could bring together people who are ready to talk about it, and you could moderate. Here's a cute musician who's doing ukulele classes with a kind of mindfulness and Zen and balance, and mindfulness meditation meets ukulele. And he is using Teachable, which is one of the course platforms that is like pay on a monthly basis. I also really like Thinkific for classes. Challenges is another example. Challenges is kind of a fun cross between a workshop and a live experience or engagement activity. Here's mine that's coming right up in a little over a week, a Bright Idea 3-day challenge. Here's a full body workout, a health challenge, a 5-day manifestation breakthrough, and then a 30-day snap a day photography example where they just give you a word like blush, and you're supposed to take a photo that represents that word. Webinars and workshops would be maybe at the heart of the educational virtual event conversation. It's a large category. If you've attended webinars, you might think that they're just sales pitches masquerading as workshops, and some of them are, and some of them are really valuable workshops, master classes, things like that. There's mini courses, there's gigantic courses, there's medium-sized courses, there's workshops, there's boot camps, there's master classes, there's launches, there's live trainings that are part of a launch, there's live trainings that are just because, there's live trainings that are free, there's live trainings that are a part of a paid program, weekly classes and class series, there's seminars and roundtables and things like that. There's a lot of formats that you can choose for your educational program. So yeah, here's some cute online workshop examples, writing one, an art one, a social media one, and a side hustle business one. And really, connection is the currency. It's sort of like the way where you as a person or an artist or a personal brand or as a company and your community, where they intersect is where you create something. And, you know, live video is a good way to create that connection. But so is any kind of interactive event. That's why interaction is what we're talking about here, because it creates connection. I'm not going to read through all of this, but, you know, live streaming is essentially people going live. There's pretty much every single platform out there has gotten in the game of live streaming. You can go live on almost any platform you can think of now. There's even multi-streaming where you can stream out to multiple platforms. So live is basically, it's like a movement. It's like a revolution. And, you know, it creates connection like I already talked about. It can be pretty easy to do. You can record it and repurpose the replays. It's a good way to show up and build rapport. But, you know, it's intimidating for a lot of people, and things can go wrong, and there is tech involved, etc. And the bottom right, I show where this came from. I've been watching some videos from live streaming pros. And then there's the video conferencing apps like Zoom and some others. And that is more about groups and conversations and face-to-face. And this is going to be better for a workshop than a live thing, unless some people do lives when they're live workshops as part of a challenge or a launch. But generally, if you're trying to do a workshop where you're really going to be working through content, a video conferencing app is going to be better than live stream tools. So getting into more specifics now. If your goal is workshops or group coaching, then I would suggest either Zoom or Cisco WebEx. Cisco WebEx has similar functionality to Zoom and is currently not charging, even though they used to charge. So it's worth considering if you don't want to pay the $15 a month for the Zoom that doesn't limit you to 40 minutes. Super new in the game, like literally hasn't even been released yet, just got announced, is Facebook Messenger Rooms. Dude got on to, did this live announcement on April 28th and just said, hey, we're about to do this. So it's worth keeping your eye on it. It's basically a direct competitor to Zoom, and the free version of it is going to allow 50 people at a time for an unlimited amount of time. And it's hosted inside Messenger, and people can join from their phone, and people even who are not on Facebook can join you in a room. So that is something to pay attention to. And you can launch a room. You can host a room and start a room, create and start and host a room from a group or a page, or even from an event. So you can be doing a real in the world event and then have a virtual room connected to it. So if you are going to create a workshop, some of the assets you might want to create is a slide deck, which is what you're watching right now, which is basically carrying along the content of this workshop. And of course, you can use PowerPoint, you can use Google Slides, you can use Keynote, or you can use Canva, which is what this was created in. You can do pre-recorded videos or intro video or an explainer video or a live video. You can just do screen recorded videos like with Loom or something like that, or screencast. You can, you're gonna need to create some kind of visual graphics like social graphics or a flyer. And you might want to create a workbook or a PDF or some kind of thing to give people to carry them along. And if you just want to keep it super simple, you can just host it live and not have any things involved. So getting into live stream tools, the one that I ended up choosing is Ecamm Live, which is there in the middle. Lightstream came in close second, and Streamlabs/OBS is a popular option and also quite affordable. I just didn't find it quite as user friendly. And then I also put B.Live and StreamYard as worth checking out. But if your goal is to entertain, engage, grow your list and your brand, and you're gonna have like a live show or something along those lines, then I would say that Streamlabs, especially if you want to take donations and you want to monetize it and make it easy for people to throw some money your way, then that's why I would say OBS, is because they have a really built-in, if you get their Prime, which I think is only $12 a month, they make it really easy for you to solicit donations, and I don't think they take any of it. Also, some people use Instagram Live, so that's worth exploring. If you're starting your own show, I would suggest Ecamm Live or Lightstream, because you can screen share, you can put like graphic frames, you can pull in videos, you can bring in special guests, you can do all sorts of fun, cool things, and you can go live to different platforms from it. If you are going in the direction of a live stream series or a weekly show or a monthly show or whatever, something like that, or even a podcast, the number one thing you're going to need is a microphone, because sound quality from your laptop sucks. So if you're a fitness instructor or dancer or puppeteer or moving around a lot, or you're going to be doing art and rustling papers and things, anything like that, then it's probably going to be best to get one of those headset mics. So it's really just catching sound from your mouth and not catching any of that other stuff. But if you're a fitness instructor that's using a lot of music, then the music won't really come through that. So that's worth considering as well. Otherwise, I know some people recommend the clip-on kind of lapel mics, but I don't particularly like them. So the best other bet is a USB microphone, and This is the sexy beast that I have bought and I'm recording with now. It's the Blue Yeti Nano in gold. And these are not absolutely necessary, but they're gonna up your game and your professionalism, and they're also not in the super expensive realm. And these are things that I have bought for my weekly show, which is every Friday at 3:33 p.m. in my Facebook group, Creative Boss Lab. Shameless plug. So you might want to get a little webcam. There's lots of expensive cams out there, but you can get a webcam, Logitech webcam for $100 to $200, $100 to $250. You can get a variety of different kinds of lighting, and a clip ring light or a stand-up ring light for 50 to 100 and something bucks. And you can also work with normal lighting if you're smart. And a control pad is something that I just bought and I haven't started customizing yet. But if you're gonna do a show and you're gonna have sequences of things happening and want it to feel like a show and not be kind of worried too much about like, oh, where do I cue this or that, then this control pad is a pretty cool option. And then you might want to also get into fancy things like lower thirds, which is the thing that kind of rolls out of the bottom and says your name or this or that, or introduces your guest, or you might want to have animations and videos and all those kinds of things. So I guess that means I've come to the end of the presentation, because here's my website. So I'm going to wrap and bring it into the how this is useful for you and how I can support you in getting your idea for your own program or workshop or event off the ground and into the world.